Who are some of your favorite opponents and your least favorite opponents?
Gosh, man. I got it's not particular guys. I enjoy guys that like to have fun in the ring and work hard at the same time.
All right.
You know, like Sting did and Steamboat and Flair, and I really enjoyed. There's no one. There's no one I hated working with. I like working with Hansen just because he's Hansen, but he wasn't like personalizing it against me. He's just being Stan Hansen, you know. So did I Joe worked with Stan Hansen more than Ric Flair or Sting or somebody? No, definitely not. But I don't take away from him as a worker, as what kind of star he is. Just his style wasn't fun, for me. But that's I don't really have like a list of unfavorites or anything like that. You know what I mean? I really don't.
Did you ever work Japan?
Yeah.
Did you like it over there?
Yeah, the crowd's different. They explode a brief applause and they're quiet again.
Yeah. Right.
Then they erupt for a high spot, then they're quiet again like this. They're totally different. Our crowds are much more raucous and just a steady drone of entertainment factor. And our audience is it's football or basketball, or there's a little buzz in the building. Japan people are different. They erupt and then they're stone quiet.
Right.
It takes some getting used to.
Right. Some critics really don't give you much credit as a worker. How do you respond to those people that say Lex Luger is a horrible worker?
Well, I joke about it, but I'm half serious. If I was as bad a worker as I said it was, now it makes me the best worker of all because I've made tens of millions of dollars.
Right.
Being a horrible worker, so boy, what a worker I must be, huh?
Any good rib stories that stand out?
Oh, boy. Dave Boy used to do a lot of ribs, but I wasn't big on ribs because I didn't want to get ribbed back. Right. So there wasn't, big ribs I pulled on anybody, or I know of that people pulled on me, really. You know what I mean?
What about road stories? Anything that stands out for
road stories?
Yeah, like traveling on the road. Anything fun happen on the road ever?
Oh gosh, nothing.
That you talk about that.
Had lots of fun. A lot of great bars and.
What's your favorite memory so far in the business?
Favorite memories?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think the sense of achievement of being involved in the wrestling business and not knowing anybody and being able to rise to the level that I did I feel fortunate and blessed, and also I take great pride in that. So never had to really kiss anybody's ass to get there. You know what I mean? So obviously somebody thought I was of some value. So I take pride in that, So probably just my level of achievement and not really knowing anybody in the business and getting it totally on my own, and reaching the level that I achieved it's very satisfying.
How do you think your life would have changed if the USFL was successful?
By that you mean?
You think you ever would have gotten into wrestling if your football career was longer?
I could try to still play football. I decided to get into wrestling.
Right.
I mean, so that's not really legitimate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe if there's a legitimate question is that it was the impetus for me to look at wrestling, that the USFL just folded because I lived in Tampa there.
Right.
At the time when World Championship Wrestling was based out of there, but that was the coincidence. So yeah, that was, but if the USFL continued to operate, would that have affected where I got into wrestling? I don't think so. I don't think football is a factor other than helping me look the part, having the size and athleticism and stuff that you don't make a pro football team for being a bad athlete, So that part of it helps. But I mean, the USFL thing, I don't really get that. No.
Do you still watch or keep up with the business at all?
Not much, to be honest with you.
What's in your future?
As you probably already can tell. Right. But I don't do it consciously, and I don't dislike the business or say, oh, it's all lousy now. I don't like. I think a lot of guys are great. I see on talent. So guys were wrestling when I was wrestling, and There's some new guys I think that I've seen, but I don't watch it a lot, and I don't like buy the pay-per-views and stuff. But I don't do that because I just like the business though. You know, I still like the business. Obviously, they did a lot for me, and I'm appreciative of it.
Are you still surprised that Ric Flair is still being pushed hard in 2004?
No, never. Stinger used to joke that they wheel him out in a wheelchair with the crackly woo, and it may come true. No, it doesn't surprise me at all.
What is in your future?
What's in my future? I want to be involved in the. I'm obviously a major fitness center here in Atlanta, and I want to be involved in the fitness nutrition industry, and you know, maybe be the next Atkins guy. Who knows? I'm joking, but I mean, you know, I want to be involved in that field. You know, because it interests me, and I have a lot of interest in that field. So that's where I see my main future in, is the nutrition probably, and exercise, stuff like that, working out.
What is the biggest misconception about Lex Luger?
That he's cocky and arrogant, like I said before. And when I'm just a quiet guy who doesn't say much around interviewing people until I get to know somebody. And then if they think you're Lex Luger, there's a preconceived notion that, oh, he's Lex Luger, so he's because he's quiet, he's arrogant, or he thinks he's better than me, when that's the furthest thing from the truth. I'm actually the exact opposite. It's the biggest probably misconception people have of me. And people have got to know me that have heard that, ended up traveling and said the same, God, I heard you were the biggest asshole. And I go, God, you're not, and then they say you're not anything like that. You know?
Right.
So, you know, but once again, I can only control what I can control, you know.
Who, in your opinion, are some of the most underrated and overrated workers that you have worked with or watched?
Oh gosh, I'm not trying to be evasive. I've worked with some really talented guys. Most of the guys that are top workers have something about them. I've always been lucky enough to work with top guys pretty much the whole time.
Right.
Most of them either have some kind of talent, whether it's interviewing and work style, or a combination thereof, and so I never looked at it in the sense of guys overrated or underrated. You know, I never looked at the guy that way. Who I worked with.
Is there anyone you have never worked with that you wish you had?
Anybody that I said again now?
Is there anybody that you haven't worked with yet that you wish you could have worked with him?
Sure, lots of guys. The Rock or something like that, or there's lots of guys I see that are stars of this now, and that I would like to work with. So yeah, just plenty of guys.
How do you think the business has changed over the last 15 years? And do you think it's good that it's changed, or do you think it's bad?
I don't think it's changed for better or for worse. I think it's different, because like everything else, the entertainment industry we talked about now, from National Enquirers to the internet to everything's instant now. You know, everything's immediate. You know, whereas there used to be more mystery to wrestling, more how did they do it, and now it's it's been written about and interneted about so much. It's kind of it's changed, but I don't think it makes it worse. Just because it's more out in the open doesn't make it worse. I think people want to watch it and they're entertained for what it is. You know, it's wrestling. Yeah, they talk about it in the back, but they still enjoy watching it.
Right.
And seeing a good match. So I don't think it's changed for better or for worse, really.
How do you want the legacy of Lex Luger to be remembered?
Oh boy, I want to live a lot longer than right now. I'm in my 40s, so
right.
I don't.
It's not over.
I don't think about a legacy right now.
Right.
No, I don't want to. I think that's bad luck, man. So I don't think about any type of legacy. Plus, legacy has kind of a snobby connotation to me, to be quite honest with you. I don't think of anything I do as a legacy.
Right.
You know?
Do you think there comes a point when someone who has made such a good living off the business should give back to the business by putting younger guys over or teaching them?
Do I think they should give back? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Most definitely.
And what are the biggest differences between yourself, Lex Luger, and Larry Fowler?
Pfohl.
Sorry.
That's okay. Lex Luger he's another person. I mean, that's just somebody that just because I look the way I look on TV and talk the way I talk on TV in person, that doesn't mean when I'm being a heel or something or whatever that's Larry Pfohl. I mean, that's somebody that I'm portraying, you know. So that's not, you know, if I'm asked to be cocky, I'm going to talk cocky, but that's not Larry Pfohl,
Right.
you know.
Do you have what message do you have for your fans out there?
I appreciate every last one of them that support me through the years and stuck by me, and those who ever haven't. I mean, they all bought tickets, and I used to say when you go to Philly or some of the really rough towns, when you're a good guy and they really get on you and stuff, I said, but I always thought that boy, they're in for all the time buying tickets, spending money. So I've always appreciated their support, that they enjoy going to the matches and enjoy watching you do what you do. So just thanks for because really, I think the fans have always decided who the stars are. The promoters get to promote and push certain guys, but if a guy's not meant to be a star, he might be kind of a star. But I think the crowd and the buzz and the fans are always so have achieved a certain level of sensibility. So you have to appreciate the fans. I think that they not to be corny, they really do choose who the stars are.
Right.
They make you a star.
Will the wrestling world see Lex Luger again?
I don't know, man. I tell you, I've been through the last couple of years. I pretty much take a day at a time. I really do. It's one way I've been able to get through it. You know, I could be wrestling on WWE next week, or I could be never wrestle again. I mean, that's how much some things can alter your life. You don't take any day for granted, and you take life on the short term. I don't think these abstract long term things, or think about kind of legacies like you were talking about. So I don't look at it that way. You know, I just look at myself as a regular guy trying to get through the next day, man. You know?
Right. Before we close, any regrets looking back on your career?
No, I don't have any regrets, because I just did a lot of good things, but I've made mistakes. Sometimes I may have said the wrong thing, like we all do in life. And whether you're a wrestler or a football player or a businessman or whatever you are, so I don't have any regrets. There's nothing, you know. You do what you do, and in the future, and you can't dwell on what's happened in the past if you didn't let it happen, because it's, you know, because you can't change it, you know. So keep on moving along.
I guess in closing, we want to thank you for being here today.
Thanks, guys.
That was a great interview.